Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Mike Lopez. This is the Boulevard Connect feature of the week. And today, I got a very special guest. His name is Carlos Garcia. And if you guys don't know his name, you definitely heard his sounds over the internet, over your phone, over the Bluetooth or whatever you listen to your radio on. It's called Kandy Chrome Radio. What's going on, Carlos?
Hey, how's it going, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing? It's finally nice to connect with you, man.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I've been checking out your app, and I like it, man. It's something that I wanted to do, back in 2004.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow. 2004. Yeah, back in the
Yeah,
day.
I like that whole lay it low thing, and it was a trip because it's like no matter what you were doing or where you were at, it's like okay, well let's get on lay it low. Let's see what's going on. All these fights and arguments and stuff like that. It was like where everything's happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But then
exactly.
it got to the point where just everybody and their mama was on that lay it low. You know what I mean? Never
Huh.
all of a sudden the same person had 4 or 5 profiles, and then everybody was getting called out.
Oh, really? I mean,
It
I
just
know,
again, man.
I know, Lay It Low, and I like the website. I think it's actually a really cool website, but I wanted a little bit more organization in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because it was all
Right.
organized. And when I was
Yeah,
looking for events, it's like you had a search for them. I wanted to find a way to make it easy, and that's the whole point of ideas and problems is finding solutions for them. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
So, but what you got going on, let's just start off. I have to be very specific with Alexa. You know what I'm saying? I have
Yeah,
to. What
yeah,
is it? It's you run a radio station, an online radio station called Candy and Chrome or Candy
yeah,
Chrome Radio.
yeah. Candy and Chrome. Now Alexa, she got real
Real
like
stubborn.
specific. You have to have it's like triggering letters all in the same combination.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people that are used to saying, "Hey Alexa, turn on Candy and Chrome Radio," it won't do nothing.
It won't do it. And that's the problem that I was finding until I
Yeah,
text you. I'm like, what exactly do I need to say? And what exactly is that?
yeah. So if you just say, "Hey Alexa, start Candy Chrome Radio,"
There
and
she
then boom, happens every time for everybody.
Yeah, that's it. Those are the magic words. Start
Yeah,
Candy
I'm
Chrome
working
Radio.
on I'm working on the developing thing because it's not letting me add any artwork to the Alexa
Okay.
everything's got to be passed, like approved and everything. So it's kind of
Absolutely.
hard to
Well,
do
you know
your
what?
own.
Well, you know what? Let's back up a little bit because I want to know. I want to know how all. I'm a big. I love listening to like business shows and listening to how CEOs or business owners started their journey and where they got the idea and how they went through it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of ups and downs. Especially how did you come up with the Candy Chrome Radio idea? I mean, was
Well,
there a moment where you were like, "Holy shit, we need to do this"?
yeah, there used to be okay, I had a low company magazine. I had a magazine from 1999 all the way to 2005.
Hmm.
And we were just starting to get big where we had big sponsors like Chevrolet, the US Army, McGuire's, Edelbrock. They
Okay.
all just wanted to jump in with us. And what I used to do is I had like a separate website where it was like a members only. I was trying all these different things.
Uh-huh.
And it was basically all the photo shoots that we did, all the ones that we didn't use in the magazine. So I tried to do something separate. And then I kept coming across uh music. Like I've always been stuck with music since I was real young. I was like one of the first kids on the block to have one of them big boom boxes that bigger than my whole body.
Radio Raheem, homie.
Yeah, like one of them big speakers. I went and put it on layaway, man. I was paying like
Lay
$10
away.
on that thing for like a whole year. Finally, I got it, man.
Lay away, bro. Man, you're dating yourself, bro. I remember lay away.
I used to buy the cassettes off the ice cream truck, man. I didn't care about ice cream. I wanted all the new Beastie Boys and all the good stuff that they always had,
Absolutely.
man. But anyways, I've been surrounded by music all my life. Like all my family, when they were young, they kept all their 45s. I have them all, man. And it's a funny story. I know you were on that the Chris Marie, her Crown Peach show.
Yeah, the Crown Pete show. Yeah, I was on her show.
Went on her show too, and I was telling the whole story about what we have like my grandmother's house was like the headquarters, and everybody would meet there every Friday and Sunday. Sunday for Menudo.
Oh, there you
And
go.
the end thing to do was everybody would bring their records, and oh, I just bought this one, I just bought that one. And they had like a real big sound system in the back room. So I was real young, but I was the one that was like picked to put on the next song, with the record players. And I was only 5, 6 years old, man, but they trusted me because I would be real careful with the needle and put it on the next song or whatever. And it just stuck with me. Like I liked all those beats. I don't like any type of newer music, man. I really don't. Like it just doesn't cut it for me.
I
Sometimes you hear something good.
Yeah.
Uh,
I always
like
say everything after 2004 sucks. All my music is 2004 and before.
pretty much, it's like it's built for a different generation of people. But
Absolutely.
I'm stuck in that old school beats. You know what I mean? I think I must be crazy because I could be anywhere. I could be at court and I could tune in to different songs and I could even change the music, man. It's like I got my own MP3 player in my brain.
Homie said I could be anywhere. I could be in court,
I know. The old lady would be yapping at me and I would just be hearing more bounce to the ass.
Yeah.
I agreed to whatever she said. But so what happened is in my studio, I had a photography studio and I had a real nice sound system in there. And every time we would be doing photo shoots, I would always put on old school mixes that I made.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, man, what's playing? Can I get a copy of that? And I would be burning them on those little thumb drives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just thought about it. I said, you know what? I need to put out a radio station. And the reason why I chose Kandy and Chrome is because I had Low Company magazine and my Low Company logo. I never really wanted to mess with. I never wanted to sell. I mean, that was like my baby. Like from early days. I had that Low Company. I used to do trading cards when I was young.
Okay.
And so I started Kandy and Chrome. I tried to think of the best name. So in 2003, I came out with that name and I started designing it and putting it out. So I made a whole issue of Low Company called Kandy and Chrome. We did a car show. We did everything like a big old series.
And
And
you have a coding background or anything like that? Anything to do with design, HTML, anything like that?
you know what I do because my mom, she used to just buy me books. She would go to yard sales and stuff and she would just bring me books. Sometimes she would bring me books like, what the heck is this? She goes, I don't know, son, but just, if you like it,
Just
keep
read
it,
it.
get rid of it. And it would be like, how to make web pages or how to do this or that. So I just started getting into it. But that's one thing about me is I'm mostly self-taught,
Yeah.
but I have tons of books. And my grandfather had always taught me, if you want to learn something, grab a book because somebody's already went through the goods and the bads of the whole business, and they
Absolutely.
wrote it down for you.
Yeah.
You would be a fool to try to do it on your own and repeat their mess ups.
100% true, bro. Oh,
So
and that's what history is. History teaches us the mistakes people made in the past. That's perfect.
yeah, so
Yes.
I would grab books on everything. Like when I was doing radio, I even went out to the library and try to get learning about FM broadcasting, and I tried that too. Actually, it's kind of funny because I didn't know. I'm not a radio person. I never had anybody in my family in radio, but I actually tried to get a FM tuner. Like those small ones that you could do, like say a hospital or something.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Actually, it wasn't small. It was supposed to be. It was. Me and my mom bought it from a yard sale from some guy who owned a small AM radio station.
Yeah.
And we tried it, man, but it just, it was just hard. I learned.
And what
So
I knew some people that did that way back in the day. They got in trouble for it because they were like illegally broadcasting or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
right.
actually, it was like one of the units that they used to use for the Bel Air swap meet. Like so you could tune in for the
Yeah.
thing. But I upgraded the antenna to because I was in a basically like a storage unit where my studio was.
Uh-huh.
And I got in because I had a key, to the electrical room.
Oh shit.
It's funny, but I tied in their antenna. I don't know, it was like 65 feet up in the air or something.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny how you mentioned you get in trouble because I sure did. I got in trouble. The FCC went and they
Yes.
put all these new locks on the door. They just
That's
said,
hilarious, bro. You know, I love it. You were like, yo, I'll ask for forgiveness, not for permission.
yeah, yeah. Like my kids always tell me, it's better to ask for forgiveness than tell on yourself or something like that.
That's what I tell my kids. I'm like, listen, if you're not breaking any laws, just bend them a little bit, ask for forgiveness. That's it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'll
I
be,
learned how to do that from my cable days when you climb up the
yeah.
pole and connect the cable for the Mike Tyson fights.
So okay, so the Mike Tyson fights. Okay, so you went from I had this idea.
Yeah.
How did you start? Like, what was your path? What was the first thing you did? Like, you hacked into them and then they cut that off. What went after? What
Yeah.
happened?
Well, what I did is I had this program. It's called a FTP program, and that's so you could load stuff on your websites.
Uh-huh.
And what I did is I had a server address. So what I did is I put that into my whole computer thing that I had at my studio. So I was giving that link out to people, and maybe 10 or 20 people. But I was noticing the more people that I would give the link to where they were listening,
Uh-huh.
it was bogging the system down, and it was bad, man. So I ended up calling the phone company and trying to ask them about the internet lines. So they had told me if I paid $1,000 that I could bring in a small T1 line, which is supposed to be like for big corporate offices.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I did it. But later, 4 or 5 months later, they sent me a bill for like $15,000. I was like, what the heck is
Oh
this?
shit!
They said no, that $1,000 was
Just
was
the install.
the install, but then the line's like 500 or something a month, and I was like, oh man.
Oh, you
And,
didn't read. You
oh
didn't read the fine print, homie.
yeah,
Damn.
dude, it's like the model cars. The first thing you do is throw
The
the.
instructions away.
So
Okay,
anyway,
you didn't have to
after,
pay it, did you? Or did you like? Hey, I didn't know. Too bad.
yeah, they end up coming and taking the lines down, and I end up paying I think like another $800 or something, and they just brought me back down to a fast line, but
Okay.
not a T1. A T1 is too much.
Okay, so you that happened, and then it replaced it. You got a T1.
Yeah, and then so anyways, this was all during the time when we were trying to get the car shows going, the Kandy and Chrome car show. I
Mhm.
had a magazine that we had put the whole logo on there, and it was supposed to be like an interactive magazine. So basically, when you open it up to the centerfold and then you see this little Kandy and Chrome logo, it was telling you to either tune in to the radio station or the website, and you'll see extra stuff, or you'll hear music, whatever.
Mhm.
And it was starting to work out, but it was just like I was doing so much and it was costing so much and not making anything.
Yeah, man.
So at the time, I let it go for a while until I just kept researching and trying to find better ways. Now, I found that there's a cloud system that you could use that's overseas in the UK.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It kind of bypasses a lot of the stuff, doing it out here.
I was just about to ask you, how many times did you want to quit? Because it's like obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. How many times did you just bang your head up against the wall?
And the last time I wanted to quit was probably 8:30 this morning, but you know, I that's a daily thing. I get over that real quick and say, you know what, I don't want to quit. Hey, man, I tell them I can't even pay these girls to be quiet.
For
But
everybody who's watching, he has his granddaughters there.
yeah, that's funny. So hey, quiet please. So what happened is I had this radio station back up and running on the cloud system. Everything was doing good. I was up to 310,000 subscribers.
Wow.
You
300,
know,
wait,
310,000
310,000.
subscribers. That gave us some power.
Hell yeah, dude.
Uh,
Nice.
What happened though is we had some bad family issues. My mother, she was in the hospital for like a whole year, man.
Man, I'm sorry.
Uh, she went in just for a gallbladder surgery, and she ended up in the ICU. And she ended up pulling out like the breathing tube of her neck, and she had brain damage, man. She was in the hospital suffering for like a whole year.
Sorry
A
about
whole year, man. And during that time, I just couldn't see myself broadcasting. I was just playing the music basically for like that whole time.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my mom, she's always been my number one fan. Before she went to the hospital, I wanted to give up, And I remember her getting like her social security check, and she comes over and she offers me money. And I said, you know what, Mom, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to shut it down. I'm not making any money. It's kind of hard. And she said, no, I'm going to do it then. If you're going to give up, I'm going to do it. And if I have to, I'll turn your old school radio station into a church. And I started laughing. And you know what my mom did, because I had given her access one time to the app,
Oh
how to
no.
sign in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She went and paid. I don't know how she did it, but between her and my sister, she paid like $800 up front on all my bills, my radio bills.
Nice.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, what is going on? So that's when I started using all that money for promotion, running ads and doing everything that I
Right.
can. I would specifically say, okay, this month we're gonna only focus on Chicago. We're only gonna focus on Detroit, on Ohio, on this and that, and it worked for us, man. Like all of a sudden we had hundreds and hundreds of each state tuning in.
You know what?
Uh,
I just want to
it
go
went
back.
worldwide. Vietnam, in Vietnam, I guess they have a lot of those cafes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
A lot of them like playing music, 50 style doo wop stuff like that.
Okay.
So all it took was one of them store owners to hit my radio station, and they would be playing it like all the time.
That's
Like
amazing.
while we're sleeping, they're over there rocking out with
Rocking out.
there.
You know what though? But really quick, I really want to really touch on what your mom did for you.
Yeah,
She believed in you, bro. She believed
right.
in what you were doing. Your sister believed in what you were doing. Honestly,
Yeah,
that is such a wonderful gift that
yeah,
it's like you can't quit because it's like your mom, and there's something great here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And she knew it. Yeah, it's gonna
yeah,
take a lot of hard work, just like anything. And I always tell people, it's like, yo, no, if it's easy, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because then everybody
right.
would be doing it. The harder it is, the bigger the bigger it's worth. You know,
Yeah,
but your mom saw something and she
yeah,
believed in you, and that's amazing. That what a wonderful gift that was, man. What
yeah, man. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm always struggling to make the one, monthly bill, and she paid like almost a whole year in advance.
nice.
Even the station company sent me an email giving me like 4 months free for paying up so much. Like
Hell yeah, dude. There you go.
I,
There you
I
go.
just sat there, and I remember getting back on the radio station and dedicating a whole show because she liked oldies. My mom loved oldies.
Yeah.
Her and my dad, they had all these songs, and they had these 45s with their name, all written in marker
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over.
I remember
But
those.
like I was telling, I don't want to repeat stories, but what happened is a lot of those albums ended up in one of my aunt's possessions, and she became real religious. She got into church, and I guess she kind of felt like that music wasn't
Oh, the
fitting
devil's
for her at the time.
the devil's music.
Yeah, so she went and sold the devil. And, she should have destroyed them. That's what you're supposed to do. But she went and made some money off them and sold to somebody at a one of those Goodwill type things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how they ended up in some other lady's possession. And my mom, she was going across a yard sale one day in Rialto, and she pulls up and she sees this big box of records, and she's looking through them, and her name's on some of them.
Oh, damn, it
And,
came right
and
back.
yeah, and she goes, "Who? Where'd you get these?" And the lady, "Oh, some lady from a church donated them, and we want to sell them." So my mom goes, "Man, if I play," she was thinking. She told me what she was thinking. If I show interest in these, they're gonna want $5 a pop, and there's boxes and boxes. And my mom goes, it came to her mind that she said, "You know what? How much you want for this whole box? I want these as I'm just gonna hang them on my wall. They're no good." And the lady looks at him. She goes, "Tell you what, give me $15. You could take them all."
Hell
And
yes,
yeah,
bro.
my mom,
Nice. Your
she,
mom was a straight hustler, bro. That's amazing.
and not only that, but a lot of them belong to some of my other aunts and uncles. Because their names all over them.
Yeah.
And when they found out, they wanted them back, and my mom says, "Nope, they're mine."
Your mom would just straight up, you know what? I'm just gonna use them as frisbees. Can I
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah. He told me if I show interest, it's gonna be $4 or $5 a pop, and I ain't gonna have the money for this. But anyways,
yeah.
called me. She was so excited, and then
How,
she
how
bought. She bought one of those units to you put the record on there and then you plug in the RCA jacks and then it had like a recorder on a digital.
Mhm.
And I guess we just sat there for months and months and putting them all on MP3. And man, it was fun doing that with my mom.
Hey, what a great story, man. That's a great memory. You should write that down so your kids and your grandkids can see that, because that to read that about your mom, because that's an example of somebody that believes in you, and
Yeah.
also a hustler as well, dude. You know what I mean? She saw the bigger picture. That's great. When was the first time you actually heard your radio station streaming? You know what I'm saying? Because that must have been a moment.
Yeah, in 2004 is when we first launched it.
Uh-huh.
As where we had maybe 20 or 30 people tuned in.
Uh-huh.
And my mom, she was basically what we were doing is I was broadcasting from my studio and she was at home in Fontana, probably about 80 miles away. And she would tell me, how's it sound? Oh, it doesn't sound good, or raise it up or whatever. Man, we got it dialed down to where it was sounding good. So she started, my mom's actually the one who first lied to me and said, oh, it's only between me and her. Next thing you know, I'm looking on the app because the app was telling me how many people would log in.
Yeah.
There's like close to 100 people. I said, what the heck is going on? And that's big. Back then my mom was real heavy on the Facebook, you know, all the family gossip or whatever. But she had so many people you know, into the same things, into music and stuff like that. So she put out the link and that was it, man. People kept on sending messages and wanting dedications and stuff like that. So
Oh, I remember dedications.
yeah, it
Love
was
live.
like,
I
man,
heard it.
and
Yeah.
you
What
know,
kind of,
even some other, you know, guys to their girlfriend called the big payback, or you know what I mean, somebody who did somebody wrong.
yeah, yeah,
But it
yeah.
was because my mom, she would write them down and then she would send them to me and say, "Hey, you have to say these over the airwaves." I'm like, "Oh man, come on!" But you know, it ended up being really clear, really clean, and it's like, man, we got something now. I mean, we're still in the beginning stages,
Mhm.
but you have to think about it. You know, there's Pandora, there's Spotify. You can
Yeah.
make your playlist, but having Candy and Chrome Radio, and it's the same music that we like, plus a lot of rare stuff that you can't find.
Yeah.
Man, I just don't see anybody else wanting to put the effort like I did, because it's not like you could just have this radio station overnight. I built this thing since 2004, and we're
Yeah, man.
barely taking off right now.
It takes a lot of work, man. I mean, when I first started doing Boulevard Connect, bro, I mean, I
Yeah.
told you the story. I'll tell that story
Look at
later.
this is her here.
Oh, that's her right there.
Yeah,
What's her name? Dolly G.
Dolly Garcia.
Dolly
She, yeah,
Garcia.
her and my dad got a divorce, but you know what? After that, they became real good friends.
That's good.
And when my mom passed away, my dad stepped up, man, and he showed himself as a you know, a true companion. He really helped her. He paid for mostly everything. He got the family involved, and he was there every step of the way.
All
He
right.
would even 2 hours or an hour and a half just to come and comfort my kids. You know,
Yeah, yeah, man.
like can't get those memories back.
You should write them down, bro, because these stories have to live on through you. I lost my grandmother this past January, and
Oh
she
wow,
and man, there's some stories I heard about her that were told to me that my mouth dropped, and I
right?
told my family, I said, we have to write these things down. We have to let because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here in this country. She was the person that started it, and I always tell my kids and my nephews, you guys need to learn your great grandmother's story, because
Yeah,
you know, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. And these are wonderful, wonderful stories that you should be telling your kids and their kids. So that's amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing.
And one thing too, it's just a trip, like how things just fall into place and how they happen and why they happen, and you know, makes sense later. But I had this guy that worked for me. He was doing all of our embroidery and artwork when we had the magazine. And the last time we really dealt with him was in 2004. He used to make all our low company hats. We used to do a lot of mail order stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, for some reason, he calls me out of the blue after all these years, wanting to know what I'm up to, and wanted me to work on his car. He bought a Riviera, '66 Riviera. So his name's Hugo, and now he's back on the team, and he's actually the one fighting for bringing in sponsors and he's just bringing that professionalism that he's like a sales guy for a
There you
lumber
go.
company.
Account executive for your station, bro. You need
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
Exactly.
photographer is sad, but one of my photographers had passed away. And two of my photographers passed away actually. And man, it's like when you slow things down or you shut things down, it's kind of sad, but you affect a lot of other people, not just yourself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. You affect me every morning because I go to
Yeah,
the gym and I come home and I play Kandy Chrome Radio. So
yeah,
I'm listening to it almost every morning, and it was because of you and our conversation and stuff like that. And I started when you DM'd me one day on Boulevard
yeah,
Connect. I was like, "What's this Kandy Chrome?" And that's when I started learning about it. I was like, "Dude, this is amazing. That's amazing. I love it. I love it." So I think it's a great idea. And honestly, it wasn't easy, but you're still working on it. And hey, you
right.
got an account executive. Hey, it's coming, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? The
yeah,
all that hard work is going to pay off, and that's basically what I tell myself about Boulevard Connect. I just started it. Oh shit, we launched like three weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? So.
right.
And already we're getting a lot of traction. A lot of people are saying positive things. There's some
Yeah,
bugs,
good.
there's some crashes, there's things that we have to deal with, but those are the growing pains that comes with anything. So, but
Yeah, exactly. I used to have I used to be with another company called Live 365,
mhm,
and it's cool, but they try to promote all their radio stations with yours to your customers. And that's kind of messed up because you're paying them money, and then all of a sudden, when somebody goes to push play, then all of a sudden this other radio station pops up, and for a little split, 15 seconds.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, maybe they like that one better. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. So, granddaughter's going crazy.
Yeah, they got the boxing gloves on.
Hey, the boxing gloves, huh? Great grandpa. Uh, can you do live broadcasts or anything like that? Can you take
Yeah, I could
Candy
go. I
Chrome
could. I could go live at any time.
from any
Through.
place?
I could do it from my laptop, or I could do it from my desktop, which is really powerful.
Okay.
Uh, as long as I have my music with me, because but also I could control the music that's on there now. There's like 20 gigs of music. I have a space for 100 gigs.
Okay.
Uh, but you know what? Adding music is not easy, man. You think you could just grab 20 songs and drop them into your radio? You cannot. You have to have all the metadata. You have to go through each song. It has to be uh the title has to be the artist, space slash the song name, and then your second line has to be the recording studio, or if it's an independent, at the bottom you have to put that it's an independent, because when it comes time for you to send your reports,
Yeah.
man, you'll get in trouble. You'll get fined. I mean, it's really awful the way the licensing is. But if as long as you know how to do it, which I read in a lot of these books on how to do it,
Yeah.
I've been getting all my music passed, without any problems.
That's great,
And
man.
some of the ones that are independent, because I do have a lot of independent music where people give to me.
Mhm.
I just got to make sure that they get their credit, through the licensing. And sometimes that's good for them because that's like a start for them to be on
Exactly.
the right track of getting their rights, complete.
That's great, man. Man, thank you so much, Carlos, for doing this. I really wanted to hear your story of how you started this, and the ups and the downs. It sounds like there's a lot of downs, but there are so many more ups. And honestly, what your mother did for you is honestly one of the best things ever. You know,
Yeah,
yeah. So honestly, props to Dolly G, your mom, for helping you out and
yeah,
keeping you
yeah,
motivated, bro. So
yeah. My parents have always been backing me. Like me and my father were pretty much a team. And he used to work construction, and man, his dream was just to put the hammer down and be with all this media and stuff like that. So we've had so many different things that we tried and failed. And right now, as we're speaking, I'm past that point with Candy and Chrome Radio, because as of January, we're like self-sufficient. Now I don't really have to worry about how I'm going to pay it. It's been paying for itself.
nice.
And then now I have all the music licensing all straight. All the artists that I play, they all getting their their numbers are going through the BMI and ASCAP.
ASCAP.
So
Yeah.
they're all. I mean, it's all legit.
Good.
Licensing thing though took me about 4 years to get it straight, to get it correct. And
Because I know about ASCAP. ASCAP will kick your ass if you don't do it right.
Yeah,
I know about
they'll fine you and they warn you.
Yeah.
Right now I'm set up as an actual radio station. My call letters are KACR.
Nice.
And what happens though is I have that parental, I'm not supposed to be playing music that's cussing. I could get away with here and there, but my mainstream between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. I'm not supposed to have any cussing on my radio station. And
Yeah.
I
Just like most radio.
I actually what's sad is the lady that monitors that, she's a fan of my radio station.
Oh, nice.
So the other day, Groove Shack Radio, he comes on Monday through Fridays, and he had some mix in there, and somehow or another he put Two Life Crew
pop.
and,
Pop.
yeah, and there was a couple of those, and right away she sends me a text because she has my direct 9. She said, I need you to talk to that guy and I need you to take that off. And if you do this a couple more times, you're looking at a $1,500 fine.
You want to avoid that. There you go.
But if I wanted to, I could pay a higher tier where I could it's like podcasting. You could cuss or you could say whatever.
Do whatever you want. Yeah, exactly.
But right now I'm basically what do you call it? Like streamline, there's supposed to be kids listening at certain age or certain time.
Yeah.
And if you go to the app stores, I have an app store rating. So that rating puts me as like I think it's 14 and older.
Okay. Nice.
So still I'm in the whole thing to be legit.
Hey man, good job, man. I applaud you. Honestly, I do. Where can everybody find your radio station right now on the website? It's Kandy Chrome Radio. It's spelled with a K, correct?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I always wanted. Okay, say if I say candy and chrome, people are going to confuse it with the food candy with a C. That's the reason why I changed it to Candy with a K, just like House of Color, because I've always liked that House of Color. You know how they say color with a K. So I actually back ordered Art LeBeau's website, which was oldschoolandoldies.com. And in 2010, I guess he slipped up and he didn't pay it when he was still. It came to me. I got it.
Nice.
And it took me a whole 6 months that I had to leave it like in limbo until it became mine fully.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I got a lawsuit, cease and desist. They wanted me to stop using that because they had printed that on, hundreds of thousands of. So right now, one of the main ways to find me easy is oldschoolandoldies.com. And it doesn't even
oldschoolandoldies.com.
Yeah, oldschoolandoldies.com. It takes you right to the Kandy Chrome website.
Right.
That way people it's easy to get it, or you could say candychrome.com.
What is it's
radio.com.
Hey Alexa, start Kandy Chrome Radio, right?
Yeah.
Right. Carlos, man, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate this. I wanted to get you on to do a feature of the week here on BoulevardConnect.com. There it is right there. Kandy Chrome Radio. Guys, take a listen while you're at home. And if you got Alexa in your car, just go ahead and say, Alexa, start Kandy Chrome Radio. And you'll be bumping and bobbing your head all day long. Carlos Garcia.
It's in all the app stores too.
There you go. It's on all the app stores, guys. Go ahead and check it out. My name is Michael Lopez for BoulevardConnect.com, your only website out there that's dedicated to nothing but cars, culture, and community. And Carlos Garcia is right here, is doing his part for all of that. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Carlos, for jumping on. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right. Thank you.